Welcome back, sports fans. In the final segment, I'm going to discuss a little bit about what's been going on with the Ohio State Buckeyes this week. From what I've read, I believe they have something like 10 cases of coronavirus among their football team. And I believe that's 10 players, such that it threatens their game with the Illini tomorrow, which is still scheduled to be played. However, if it is not, that would be the second lost game of the schedule for the Buckeyes, which would mean they would have to be able to play both their games against the Spartans the following week and the Wolverines the final week of the season in order to qualify for the Big Ten championship. And with them being the odds-on favorites to win it, if they didn't qualify for the Big Ten championship, I could see where it would affect their national championship aspirations. On a much bigger scale than that, I've noticed, and I'm sure all of you have as well, is that coronavirus has been pretty rampant throughout the Pac-12, this season, and is getting to be a lot more rampant, albeit there's been more cases than this week in the SEC, but they've been hit pretty hard as well. And with the SEC still having 3 more weeks to go yet before they wrap up their season, college football might not make it to the end. And even if they make it to the end of the regular season, the question becomes, and then what? But I think right now the Big Ten is close enough that they're going to push through with this. And I hope they don't do anything that really affects the players' health or safety. But with only a couple weeks to go, I really believe they're going to try to push through this to get to the Big Ten championship game and get through that. But in terms of the Pac-12 and the SEC and the ACC, and I'm thinking about the ACC and the SEC especially because of the teams in the region that covers, I'm a little concerned about how this college football season is going to end. I do believe they're going to get through it. But are they going to get through it in the right way? And if you look right now, the NFL is struggling massively because they're still going to have the Ravens and Steelers play each other, and the Ravens are down to one quarterback, who is not their starting quarterback, and one running back. And personally, I think that game should have been postponed already. And I don't know that, as of right now, it has not been. I'm afraid what they might do with college football games a lot of that. And mind you, the NFL still has 6 more weeks to go after this week before they're done. Or 5 more weeks to go after this week before they're done. And that doesn't even include the playoffs. So I hope now the blueprint for all of this is not going to be a bad one. But we'll see what happens. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens down the stretch, to be sure. But if the Buckeyes don't have enough players to compete, I don't think they ought to be forced to play. Although, be it with them playing the Illini, I'm sure they could play extremely short-handed, perhaps, and still win the game. However, I don't believe that that's really the point of this. And then the point being that health and safety ought to trump fame and money. I guess that's the question that's going to be answered both in college football as well as the NFL, but especially college football, I would say, in the next few weeks. And that will do it for another episode of College Football Recap. Next week, I will preview the Spartans game against the Ohio State Buckeyes, or the Buckeyes of Ohio State, if you will. And I'll preview the Wolverines next game. Stay tuned to Sports with Ed for further updates. And don't forget about the Detroit Lions tomorrow, which will air not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, where I will preview their next game. Take care. Have a good rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. Enjoy college football. If you're out on the road, drive safely. Have a good day. Goodbye for now.